と今回の陰口は1枚だったよ。え、しべこれマジ？これ本当なら先生本気で引くんだけど。
I'm over here stroking my dick. I got lotion on my dick right now. I'm just stroking my shit. I'm horny as fuck, man. I'm a freak, man.
Hello everyone, Poke here, bringing y'all another anime video. And for today's video, we're just not going to be talking about an anime, but also a series that came for Netflix. Now, it's a pretty niche series, pretty indie. I don't think a lot of y'all have heard of it. It's called Squid Game. And so, in today's video, we're going to actually be comparing the two series together, mostly due to the fact of how many people compare it to each other. The reason why it has so many comparisons is due to the fact that they're both high stakes games, they have mascot characters, I don't know, and the overall plot revolves around the idea of money. Now from the title you can already tell what my opinion is on both the series and which I prefer better. However, I do believe that Squid Game is actually a really good series by itself and I'm just comparing the two series. If it was Squid Game by itself, I would say that it's better than a lot of shows, a lot of anime. But we're going to be comparing it to Tomodachi game. We're going to be going in depth about both the characters and all the way up to the overall theme of both shows and comparing it to each other. Just a heads up, this video will contain spoilers for Squid Game for all episodes that came out recently as of this recording, and Tomodachi game. However, we're just going to be talking about the anime, because even though I've read the manga, I know a lot of people haven't, and I think it would be fair if we just talk about the anime and not go into the manga, because the manga, oh man, it is definitely better than Squid Game, but we just gotta be fair. And yeah, without further ado, let's start this video. Now, for the discussion of the characters, I will have to say that it's a tie between Squid Game and Tomodachi game, that I believe that both series excel in better than the other. I believe that Tomodachi game has a better protagonist, while Squid Game has better side characters in my opinion. For example, the main protagonist of Tomodachi game, Yuuichi katagiri, is a really complex character who struggles between choosing either money or friendship, and what's been shown throughout the series is that he's willing to help his friends no matter what, and wouldn't sell them out no matter how right he would have been if he just betrayed them. As since this is a game that they were forced between because of one person, aka Tenji Mikasa, and everyone has a right to be mad at Tenji. However, Yuuichi at the end of the second game decides that he would purposely lose and make sure that everyone else makes it out except for him, and he'll go to the third game alone because he wants his friends to make up with each other. And even though he says he doesn't want friends at all, he's just really lying. Seong Ji-hoon, I don't know if I pronounced it right, is the main protagonist of Squid Game, and while not the strongest written character in the series, has really good character development from how he was in episode 1 to episode 9. How he is shown to be this irresponsible adult who wasn't very conscious of his money and would make his mom even go broke while she's dying, to become this person who had to experience many instances of death and losing someone he considered to be a father figure by tricking him into losing. Both have interesting arcs. However, I believe that Yuuichi is better than Ji-hoon because of how fascinating it is to see Yuuichi stick by his friends despite his friend Tenji literally putting them in this game, as Yuuichi displays himself as this very evil person who will do anything to win. He does have a pretty good heart covered by that darkness. However, with Ji-hoon being the complete opposite, having to betray people he became friends with in order to win a pretty unfair game. Both are in the right to try to win this game. However, I do believe that Yuuichi is the overall better protagonist and is the reason why I think Tomodachi game is like very popular at the moment. As I said before, I said that Tomodachi game had the better protagonist. However, I said that Squid Game has better side characters compared to Tomodachi game. I say this because I believe that in terms of introducing the characters, I would say that Squid Game did it better compared to Tomodachi game. As, to be honest, I feel as though they should have introduced each character better. As the way they did it was they just displayed text on the screen of each of the characters and expected us to read it. Well, first of all, we are not gonna pause that. I ain't reading all that. It's much better in the manga because you are reading it. So of course you're gonna read that part. But with an anime, you're not really. And besides that, from what we're introduced in the first episode of Tomodachi game, each of the characters quickly try their best to decrease their debt and not worry about getting their other friends' debt increase. And we really don't get to see the reason why until later on to the series. Now for Squid Game, I would say that it's a lot better as each of the characters have their own backstory and reason to want to win a whole bunch of money. I'm pretty sure we all do. But I would say that it's much more interesting and gives us the reason to why we would want to root for each of the characters besides the main protagonist, and gives a lot more rewatch value even of rooting for each character even if you know that they're gonna lose either way. And yeah, that's why I say that Squid Game has better side characters compared to Tomodachi game as of the anime, because in the manga they definitely have a lot of better side characters, but that's just on me. Now for this section we're going to be discussing about the antagonists for both series, and in my opinion I think that Tomodachi game has better antagonists compared to Squid Game. Now one of the first antagonists of Tomodachi game, Tenji Mikasa, one of the 5 friends of Yuuichi, ends up becoming the traitor and is the one that set them up to play in Tomodachi game. Now I find his motive for doing all this pretty interesting, as he once did participate in the game because of his friends, and once they lost he had to tell someone, his dad, because who would want to carry around this amount of debt until they're an adult and where they have to pay some shady company money, or else he gonna get like, I don't know, where he's just gonna be broke for the rest of his life. And when he saw how strange Shiho was, whenever they're trying to ask him about questions and stuff, I can understand why Tenji would be suspicious and blame Shiho for doing all this. And Shiho is pretty suspicious with the debt and everything. Now I think Tenji is the main blueprint of how future antagonists will be, where they're people who are pretty smart, to be honest, who have this plan that they set in full motion that can't fail, until this one dude who hasn't showered in like a week or something comes along and finds any of the holes in their plans and uses it against them and defeats them. And I think that when Yuichi humiliated Tenji in front of his friends, it was awesome, bro. You cannot deny that fact. Now for the next antagonist that's been shown in the anime, this will be a spoiler for the recent episode of Tomodachi game. If you don't want to be spoiled, here's a timestamp to where to skip. And yeah, Shinomiyake, bro, I absolutely loved his character, especially in the manga, but I just can't discuss it because of this being an anime only one. So Shinomiyake is a character that's really in the sidelines, who doesn't do much in the first half until the recent episode where he reveals himself as he waits for Yuichi to execute his plan so that he can as well, and trick Maria to joining him and humiliating Yuichi, and by topping it all off, finding Tenji's hiding spot and announcing himself to be a genius. He is a self-centered little brat, and I absolutely love his character, as it's not really annoying, as it's just like impressive. And yeah, we need to be fair with Squid Game and talk about its main antagonist, I guess Squid Game itself, but overall the front man, as he is also someone that's in the sidelines who doesn't really try to go against our protagonist, but he is an overall messed up kind of person for setting up this game and stuff and tricking everyone thinking that they can get money and stuff, but at the end it's just literally only one person will get it. So it's either you're gonna get the money or no one else. It's honestly the definition of evil, to be honest. It shows the corruption of how people use money to get people to do things for them. And yeah, I do think that's interesting. However, I think that Tomodachi game has overall like interesting and like full of personality kind of characters. And that's why I say that Tomodachi game has the better villains compared to Squid Game. For this final section, we're going to be discussing about the themes for both series. And in my opinion, once again, I do think that Tomodachi game has the better theme. Now, I know this might not be the same for everyone, as I can understand why people would prefer Squid Game, as I'm not saying that Squid Game has a bad theme either. I'm just saying that Tomodachi game has a stronger one compared to Squid Game, as throughout the series we get to see how many of the people use their friends as a way to win these games and overall end up betraying them just so then they can get a couple of cash to lower their debt and even ruin their whole friendship. And for example, like Tenji, he said it himself that he didn't even really see Yuuichi and the gang as friends, more like tools for him to use against his plan for Shiho. And Shinomiyake, I wouldn't say he does seem like the kind of guy who cares about his friends. However, he is basically using them as like pieces so then he can win and claim himself to be a genius. And I would say that the first episode is a great example of the theme, as everyone is very suspicious of each other even if they don't want to admit it. And because of the bottom of the cards saying that if they pick no, they'll get their debts halved, it shows how each of the characters would rather lower their debt than trust their friends. And the whole game of Tomodachi game is to trust your friends, as that is the only way to win. Now for Squid Game, it's sort of similar but not really. It doesn't really rely on the topic of friendship. Rather, it shows how there's a lot of unfair things that can happen, and that getting money isn't really that easy, as it can be a life or death situation. It shows how people will do anything for money, even if that means like tricking your friends to like lose the game just so you can have a chance to win it. And we get to greatly see that at the very end of Squid Game. But overall, I will say that Tomodachi game, in my personal opinion, is much better with its theme. Thank you to anyone who did watch till the end of the video, as I very much appreciate it. As this video was pretty long, to be honest, but it's because I very much love Tomodachi game. I finished the manga like a couple of days ago, and I am still shocked by what happened. I highly recommend it, as I couldn't wait another week for another episode. And I just wanted to let you guys know at the end that this wasn't a hate video on Squid Game. I like Squid Game, but I just wanted to end this debate of comparing Squid Game to Tomodachi game just because they have game at the end of the title. And yeah, I do plan on making another video about Squid Game and Tomodachi game. You might not know what it is, but I'm gonna just keep it a secret. And yeah, I don't know if you guys watched the last video, but I did make an announcement that I will be uploading 2 times a week. So once you guys see this video, in the next couple of days, I'll upload another video. So to make my job easier, I do recommend you guys giving me some video ideas, and maybe even type up a script of what you want me to say and stuff, and I'll give you a shout out. You don't have to pay me to do this. And that's what all I wanted to say. Thank you all for watching this video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and goodbye.